This original WSRE presentation is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you.
From the National Flight Academy, General Duane Thiessen on this edition of Conversations. Pensacola, Florida is known as the cradle of naval aviation. It's the place where young officers come to earn their wings. Nothing symbolizes naval aviation more than NAS Pensacola. The base is home of the world-famous flight demonstration team, the Blue Angels. It also boasts one of the world's largest and most prestigious aviation museums, the National Naval Aviation Museum. Behind the museum is a world-class educational facility, the newly built National Flight Academy, from which our broadcast is originating. Our guest, General Duane Thiessen, had an impressive 38-year career as a United States Marine. He served his country early on as a Harrier pilot before rising through the ranks to take command of Marine Forces Pacific prior to retiring in 2012. General Thiessen is now the Chief Executive Officer of the Naval Aviation Museum Foundation and the President of the National Flight Academy. We are pleased to have General Duane Thiessen on this edition of Conversations. Thank you for joining us.
It's great to be here. Thanks for coming. Welcome.
It's our pleasure. Quite a place you have here. Tell me, what is the National Flight Academy?
Okay. The Flight Academy is the realization of a vision. And it wasn't my vision, but it was a vision that believed that what we could do is impact the lives and the future of children by exposing them to a fun and immersive environment focused on science, technology, engineering, and math. That's a short capsule of what that vision was, and that's what this is. It is an immersive experience to teach children science, technology, engineering, and math.
Who had the original vision?
Well, there were several that had it, but I tell you what, Admiral Fetterman was very, very instrumental in getting this all going, and he was the early disciple, if you'll allow me to use that word. He was the one that was singing this out, espousing this long and hard till the day he left my office, the office that I have.
When this came together, what sort of cost is involved in building this? Because this is not just a little thing you slap together in a couple of months. This is an enormous structure.
It is expensive. It is expensive, but this was accomplished because of donations and participation by industry and individuals that shared the vision and the objective that we were trying to accomplish here. And so you have some $40 million involved in doing a project like this, but it is paid for, and it is fully operational, and it is turning out students and classes in a way that we are very proud of, and we would love to show it to anybody who wants to come, and we will stand on merit because there's nothing like it in the world.
And it's actually, I don't want to say a replica, but of an aircraft carrier, but it's
Right.
really more than a replica, I would say. And tell me about it. Explain that.
Well, okay, I will. Now, let me back up a little bit first, all right? If you and I were going to have a discussion about having immersive training in Spanish, you and I would very quickly know what that involved, and so would all of your audience. You would create an environment where the only language of communication was Spanish, and you would force people to orient and adapt and execute and function in that environment. Now, if I were to tell you that we are going to create an immersive environment for science or math, technology or engineering, now suddenly you have this question mark. Okay, what's this all about? That's where we get into the environmentals that you referred to. When you come on board Ambition, this building is called Ambition, CVT Ambition. It is designed to look, feel, smell, and sound like an aircraft carrier. It's turned off now for your program, but there's always the background. Anytime you're on a ship, there's this background of mechanical noise because you're in a machine. So you have all of the power plant generations. You have the generators, the transformer rectifiers. You have the sound of the catapult when the airplanes are shot off the front end. You have the sound of the trap when the airplanes are recovered. All of those sounds are generated in here. So what you've done is you've created an immersive environment to look, feel, smell, and sound like an aircraft carrier. Now there's a purpose for that. When children come here, they've never experienced that before. So it doesn't matter what their background is, does it? No. Doesn't matter what their background is. Everybody's the same. Everybody's trying to figure this out at the same time. Everybody's on the same plateau. And then what you do is you challenge them to tasks, and those tasks are missions in an environment that they want to do. It's fun, it's exciting, it's real. They're living in a video game. That's their description, not mine.
Okay.
All right? But in order to accomplish these tasks, they have to plan and control, they have to brief and divide up responsibilities, they have to hold each other accountable in a changing environment, and they have to adapt, and the better they do, the harder we make it, all right? And suddenly, science and math become the tools to get to where they want to go instead of the thing they have to overcome in a page in a book for the purpose of that class. And they really turn on to that environment and that purpose and that focus. It works.
And it's so realistic when you're in here, and anyone who's a pilot, I know you and I were talking about the instrument plates, for example, that are examples on the wall. I mean, it's extremely real. Take me through, basically when a student shows up on day one, how does it start?
Well, interesting. They come on, let's talk about a deployment. We have other packages. A deployment is basically a student comes in, he's 7th grade through 12th grade, all right, or into 12th grade. So he comes in on Sunday noon, midday on Sunday, and their parents, they're brought into our facility. We're accountable, we're responsible, we control the environment, we control access, we control where people go. They come in, they are then put in an environment where they are introduced. You will notice that the doors don't say 3rd level, they're tack marks, just like on a ship. So they have to learn the environmentals, they have to learn the language. We don't talk about the floor, we talk about the deck. We don't talk about the walls, we talk about the bulkheads. We don't talk about the door, we talk about the hatch. It's a different language, it's a different environment, it is a completely different language, okay? So there's a crawl, walk, run progression that comes into this. They have to learn the environment, they have to learn the tools, they have to learn to implement the tools, and then they have to learn to execute with the knowledge, with the tools, with the skills, and the purpose that they've been given. And then as they go through the week, you keep in mind there's multiple evolutions of this per day. As they go through the week, it gets more and more and more sophisticated, and they can't possibly win, I won't let them, until Thursday night, and then they graduate on Friday, midday.
And they do everything from actually fly simulators to air traffic control, right?
Exactly. And more than that, it's mission control. They do, we're right now in what we call a JIC, Joint Intelligence Center, where we have all of these various tools and helps to plan. They hold school in here, they hold class in here, and they're given things to plan. When they leave here, they go to a briefing room and responsibility is divided up among them. Some of them will be controlling and assessing and reporting. Some of them will be going off and executing, all right? Those that will be controlling and assessing are going off to a operational center. Those that will be executing will go down to the simulators. They then have another evolution because they never get it done, and they switch. And here they go again.
So everyone sort of gets a turn.
They all get a turn, right.
Interesting. Who are the instructors?
Well, we have a great relationship with the University of West Florida, fantastic relationship. They've got a great program over at University of West Florida, and that's probably a program you ought to cover sometime because it's really, really dynamic. We work with them. They actually train our coaches over there and we bring them in here in the summertime, and that's how we stay close to our students, our AXPs, Ambition Experimental Pilots as we call them, and that's how we make sure that the individual learning objectives are met, and that's how we ensure that our accountability and responsibilities are also met. Incidentally, that's also how we are able to give a college credit to those that want it to 11th or 12th graders.
Okay. So it's not just fun, it's also advancement towards your degree.
Trust me, they think it's fun.
Now, do you have folks who were previous naval aviators or Marine Corps aviators who are working in the program as well?
Well, we do. We do have folks that were aviators working in the program, but that's not the prerequisite.
Okay.
Look, our purpose is not to recruit, and our purpose is not to train pilots. That's not the purpose. That's the environmentals, and that's also our credibility. We can do that. We understand that. We can create that environment and stress them in an environment, challenge them in that environment. Our purpose is to teach them, and in the process, let them have an experience that they thoroughly enjoy and is very rewarding for them, all right? So they don't fight a war. What they do is they do humanitarian assistance, disaster relief. They do air shows. They do any number recoveries. They actually recover people that are adrift at water, out at sea, out in the Gulf. So our purpose here is to not necessarily make them naval aviators, but to put them in an environment that they've never ever seen, challenge them with the skills required to execute the missions that they want to do in this environment.
You know, oftentimes, particularly in the press, there's so much negativity. We talk about what the United States education system is not doing or what young people are not accomplishing.
Right.
Let's be optimistic for a second. What are you seeing that you're optimistic about as these youngsters come through this program?
Okay, and I can measure progress as a student. An AXP comes through here. They vote. They're given a name tag. This name tag allows them to go or not go into certain places. Again, we're responsible. So in the course of going through these various challenges and problems and missions that they have to plan and solve, they are taught and they get to vote and answer questions, and they do it on a keypad on their card. We measure that. All right? I can measure their progress from when they come to when they leave. But let's be honest. There's nothing I can do or anyone else that can teach a young person all the science and math and technology that they need in 1 week. I can't do that.
Right.
But what I can do is change their attitude toward it before they leave. I can do that. And I'll tell you why. When you sat down and learned geometry, you did it the same way I did. I don't know that, I'm betting. Mm-hmm. And it was a problem on a page in a book that you crawled through day after day after day in class, and the best you could hope for is to be on the next page or the next 2 pages in the following class when you came back, right? Mm-hmm. Not here. All right? Suddenly that problem on a page in a book is the facilitating tool. It is the means, it is the key to getting to where they want to go. And it changes the attitude about what they're trying to accomplish. It's not the objective, it's the facilitator to do what they want to do. I need to know how to do this because I want to do that mission. And that attitude is measurable, and I have many, many anecdotes from both instructors and students that say that I can do that.
How do we as a society, how do we as a nation implement more programs like this?
Well, first off, you're not going to, I don't see a reason to duplicate this. Why? Because it's unique to the base, it's unique to the area, it's unique to our environmentals, and it's a perfect fit.
Right.
All right? But your question is very valid because we need to do that wherever and whenever we can. There was a lot of news stories about relative scoring in math and science here in recent, just before Christmas, I believe, and they weren't necessarily good. All right, but if we can capture young people when they are most adaptable and develop their attitudes toward things like science and math. That's what's going to be key, and we've got to find every way to do it. So you do it with things like this. This is kind of a high-end experience here. You do it with lower-end experiences, touch and go. You can do. Everybody is striving to find the way, and you see it in a number of different things. St. Louis has some very interesting programs, but they're kind of afternoon programs. They're very good. They're not immersive. Some of them are immersive actually, but they're touch and go. They're very short duration. What we're looking for is a long duration, total immersion for the immersive result, if I could play on the words.
Interesting. I'm somewhat jealous that sort of stuff wasn't around when I was coming up, because it was, like you say, it was boring to sit in a lecture or listen, or just read a book and not have that opportunity. And technology is wonderful, isn't it?
It is. It's
really
great. And the children. I don't know if your cameras have shown it, and maybe we'll get some footage of it later, but the technology here is one of a kind. They gravitate to it, they love it, they love children more than adults, and we get adults through here. Children more than adults gravitate to it, and they love to work with it, they flourish with it, and it facilitates them. They think that way.
Tell me about the programs. You mentioned adults. What sort of programs do you have working with adults?
You bet. So we have this thing we call a deployment. It's a 5-day experience for children, and I've kind of focused on that in my remarks so far. Not all children and not all circumstances, not all periods, school year by classic example, does not really lend itself to coming out of class for 5 days. So we also have a program that we call a cruise. It's a 3-day program. Now all of a sudden you can have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can have a period during a spring break. You can have those kind of programs. It is basically a compressed, shorter version, more limited mission example of the same thing. All right, it is far compact. Short of that, what we can do is an adventure for children. We can expose them to it, let them have a good time, see cause and effect. They don't really have time to develop the skills and go through all of the immersive training in a day, but they can certainly get an exposure to what you're seeing here today. And then we have a similar thing, an embarkation for adults. Let's say that you and your staff want to have a team day here and you want to do business. I can accommodate that, and after that bring you through the building and let you experience and observe exactly what these children are doing in a very dynamic way. And you'll find, as I do over and over again, that the children do it better than you do.
I believe that. I believe that. Are there any prerequisites for the children?
You know, the prerequisite that we have, of course, age. We don't want 17 years old as our cap because of the adult. They're legal, and then coming in, they need to have completed 6th grade math so that they have some basic skills to come in. Now, we don't entry test any of that. The thing we want is a short blurb that says why they want to come. That's what I want. All right, because I want them to think about it and actually want to come. Yeah. Okay, and there's a couple of different ways that they can come. They can come because their parents or their grandparents, their guardian, enrolled them, or they can come under a scholarship program. There are times when we have scholarships available for children to come through the academy.
Interesting. You had a very successful career in the Marine Corps. Started out as a pilot.
I did.
Where did the love from aviation begin? Where did it begin? When did it begin, I guess?
Well, I don't know where you grew up, but I grew up in the middle of nowhere on the farmlands of Kansas, okay? So, and we were within flying distance and radio reception distance of Wichita, air capital of the world, okay? And so We were also under a high-speed, my dad's farm, under a high-speed, low-altitude training route, which are very narrow, published, very restrictive routes. And it went right over my dad's farm. So I would be days and days, endless days, eternally on this tractor working this farm, and here would come an airplane across the top, all right? So for days and days, I would be going around this field. In 15 minutes, this airplane would be where it wanted to be, and I wanted to be there too. It was pretty clear to me I had a choice, the Farmall tractor or jets.
And you start. So early on, I'm assuming you go in, you come to Pensacola, Florida for training?
That's correct. I joined the Marine Corps. So the first thing the Marines do is you go to Officer Basic School in Quantico, and you go through a series of ground orientation and ground training thing. But then, like all aviators, Marine, Navy, Coast Guard, I came here and went through the aviation indoctrination, and at that time they had a primary training at Softley, which is where I went through.
What was it like in those days?
It was great. It was great. I was so full of myself you wouldn't have even recognized me. I had a full head of hair and I was handsome.
What did you most enjoy about it?
Well, it was a realization of a dream. It was exciting. It was tangible. It was machine. It was control. It was empowering, and it was aggrandizement. I mean, it was a young man's thrill. I mean, it was a young man's dream.
As you look into the future and all the talk about the drones and things like that, where do you see aviation going over the next decade, over the next 20 years?
Well, first off, you're never going to get the man out of aviation. You just won't, okay? You're not going to get the man out of warfare. You're not going to get the man out of the struggle between nations and the operations of machines. So it's very tempting to tie drones and UCAS, unmanned combat aircraft systems, into an environment where the man comes out of it. That's not going to happen. We're going to have manned aircraft around for a long, long time. Where are we going? Let me tell you something. The capability that is in the forces today exceed anything that we could dream of when I came in 1974. We couldn't even fathom the capabilities that they have today. And we had problems in the mid-70s. Check your old newsreels. We had some real serious challenges in our country in the mid-70s, all right? We don't have those challenges today. We don't have those challenges. We have some outstanding young men and women that answer the call and go out there and do jobs in ways that are far better, far dynamic than anything we could do when I was their age. They are phenomenal.
If you were in front of an audience of young people who had aspirations of being pilots or being in the military, what advice would you give them?
Do it. Do it. But be ready to do it. Because it's not, you don't get a promotion because it's your turn. Mm-hmm. You get a promotion because you perform and you qualify and you go through a system that determines whether or not you can perform at the next level. All right, and the needs of the service. So you have that two dynamic there, the needs of the service and your performance record. So it's not a job, it's a lifestyle. So that's when I say do it, but be ready to do it. It's a decision, it's a commitment, and it's one that you have to take on totally, body, soul, and spirit.
How do you prepare for it as a young person?
Well, first off, you have to dedicate yourself to do it. You really do. The physical requirements, the academic requirements, the hours, the expectations, you just have to dedicate yourself to doing that. And that is a discipline, that is a self-disciplined decision, all right? Trust me, the preparation beyond that will be made very clear.
Very clear. We're getting a little bit short on time, and I would be remiss without bringing this up because just out the back door here is just a world-class museum, the National Naval Aviation Museum. Give me just a 2-minute update on the museum. How is it?
The museum is doing extremely well. If you haven't, I mean, for your audience, if they haven't been here in the last 3 or 4 months, they haven't seen it. Okay, we have made a lot of changes. We have new displays. We're getting another new one in called the Apollo exhibit in there that is just phenomenal. I've seen it, they've tested it, they've done a beta test. It is really, really great. We have a 4D Blue Angel display that's a lot of fun. You haven't done that yet. You need to do that.
I would love to.
Okay. It's a lot of fun. It's digital, and you put on the 3D glasses and you go fly with the Blue Angels. It's fun. We have the UCAS, the X-47B in there. We have a brand new F-6F Hellcat that is restored in the museum, and it's gorgeous. And it's got all of the markings of the USS Enterprise from World War II. So it's a great museum. We got 150 plus aircraft out there on display. We're changing it all the time. We changed it again this morning, and bring your audience. Have them bring their friends, bring guests, or tell people where we are. Don't charge admission, and it's the best show in town.
Wherever I travel, and folks know my association with Pensacola, Florida, they always bring up the museum,
Right.
and it's absolutely wonderful. In about 1 minute, you're relatively new to this job. What's your goal for the museum and the Flight Academy over the next few years?
Well, first and foremost, I'm just honored to be here. Okay, I'm really honored to be here. We have some capital investments that we have to do. We need to create more storage space. We got to find a way to do that. That will take a capital campaign. We have some improvements that we need to do and expansions here in the academy. We got to find a way to do that. And we're talking about ways to do that. So we have those kind of things. That's kind of on the business end. On the operational day-to-day end, we have volunteers that are phenomenal people. We want to continue to be worthy of bringing them in and having them be the point of transference of knowledge from that piece of metal that you see out there to the story and the manpower that's behind it. We have a staff that deals with all of the marketing requirement that has to be done. I need to facilitate them. We have development that has to be accomplished. My hope is that I can function in a way, in a manner that motivates, supports, and makes them effective, because I am one person in a large organization. There's a lot of very dynamic, very gifted people doing this for us.
But the bottom line, we're going to continue to see that trajectory of growth.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
General, best of luck.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your time. It was a real pleasure visiting with you.
Great to be here with you.
You bet. General Duane Thiessen. By the way, you can learn more about the National Flight Academy as well as the museum at navalaviationmuseum.org. From the National Flight Academy on board Naval Air Station, Pensacola, Florida, I'm Jeff Weeks. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Take great care of yourself, and we'll see you soon.
Support for this program is provided in part by these corporate sponsors. And by viewers like you.